come for a journey on one of Japan's most spectacular mountain railways. A train line not designed for tourists, but for building dams and power stations. This is the Kurobe Gorge Railway, and we'll be travelling at one of the best times of year, autumn. It might be a bit wet, but the views won't disappoint. And I'll cover everything you need to know before taking this train. Today we're riding the Kurobe Gorge Railway near the city of Toyama in Japan. First we have to catch a local train to Unazaki Onsen, and it's just arriving now. This train dates from 1979. These were Jitetsu's first air-conditioned cars. They built 15 of them between 1979 and 1981. Japan has to be one of the few countries in which you can get views like this of the train driver at work and of the line ahead. This is the Toyama Chihō railway main line. Like most Japanese railways excluding the Shinkansen, this line is narrow gauge. This is a private railway. The operator is commonly known as Jitetsu. This railway line starts in Toyama, a city of just over 400,000 people located on the Sea of Japan. That's the Alps Express, a tourist train with a special interior. The exterior maintains the train's heritage, previously called a red arrow and dating from 1969. Once the points change, we can proceed. The line is 53 kilometres long, although we're only travelling about 13 kilometres today after transferring from the Shinkansen in Kurobe. We're headed to the end of the line, Unazuki Onsen. This section of the line opened in the 1920s. As you can see, this is quite a rural line. A short while later we arrive at the terminus of the line in Unazuki Onsen. True to its name, this area is known for its hot springs. But we're here to travel on the Kurobe Gorge Railway, a private narrow gauge railway built to serve the construction of a major dam. It's a completely separate system from the line we just travelled on, and the trains are much smaller. We can see them just over here to the left. First we need to head to the station to collect the tickets, which I booked online as soon as they went on sale. It's very popular to take this train in the autumn. You need to line up based on your departure time and carriage number. At this point I didn't really understand the queuing system, so was in the wrong queue, which the staff pointed out to me. Just to be aware, most staff only speak Japanese. I'm in car 6. These are our 2 locomotives. It's electric. Here you get a sense of just how small the trains are. They're often referred to as trolley trains. Car 2. As you can see, they're open air carriages, so hopefully it doesn't rain, or we will probably get wet. And here's car 6. This is the one I need to board. There is a better side of the train to sit on for views, which I'll cover later. The Kurobe Gorge Railway has a fleet of 25 locomotives, 139 passenger carriages and 204 freight wagons. You're allocated a carriage, but you're free to sit wherever you want in the carriage, so it's first in, best dressed. As you can hear, there are announcements, but they're in Japanese. We have a proceed signal. right out of the gate is one of the highlights of the route. The bright red Shin Yamabiko Bridge marks the entrance to the Kurobe Gorge. With a length of 166 metres, it is the longest bridge to span the Kurobe River. The origin of the name, Yamabiko or Mountain Echo, is the sound of the train ringing out through the hot spring resort. We'll get an even better look at the bridge on the way back, so make sure you stick around for that. This first section of the line opened in 1926. The 80-minute journey takes us across more than 20 bridges and through over 40 tunnels as we travel up the gorge. The train will climb 375 metres, about 1200 feet, on our way to Keyakidaira. We catch glimpses of Shin Yamabiko Bridge. Shin means new. The second, lower bridge below is the original railway bridge, now used by pedestrians. In the distance is Unazuki Dam and power plant. The Unazuki Dam is the newest dam in the Kurobe Gorge, completed in 2001. The bright red arch of the Komen Bridge spans the huge reservoir behind the dam. The emerald colour of the water is striking. Although this looks like a European castle, this is the hydroelectric plant. There are recorded announcements about sites along the route, but they're only in Japanese. However, there is an app you can download on your phone that provides audio in other languages, including English. Sightseeing train services started on this line in 1971. While our carriages are open air, there are also enclosed carriages. The open air carriages seat 4 people across on bench seating. These enclosed cars are considered first class, and there are 3 seats across and the seats have backrests. The backrest can be adjusted so that all passengers face the direction of travel. You need to pay a supplement to ride in them. This is an intermediate station. Passengers can't get on or off here. Much of the route is single line, so trains need to wait in passing loops for other services to pass. At peak times, there are 5 trains per hour running on the line. These structures protect the line against landslips, given how steep the gorge is. Although this looks like a waterfall, I believe it's part of an irrigation canal dating from the Edo period in the mid-1800s. Near the base is an onsen. This natural stone formation is said to resemble Buddha. The trains operate seasonally from late April through November and are most popular in autumn when the forested slopes along the railroad turn bright orange and red with beautiful autumn colours. This was filmed in late October, so the autumn colours are beginning to show. Late October to early November is generally the best time to visit, but also the most popular. The power lines might seem out of place, but the railway wouldn't exist without them. They're here to transport the electricity generated by the hydroelectric power stations along the gorge. We're approaching our first official stop. This small, isolated station is perched on the steep forested cliff above where the Kuronagi River flows into the Kurobe River. Atobiki Bridge is 64 metres long and 60 metres high, and spans the sheer cliffs around Kuronagi Station. The bridge's name translates to back away. It gets its name from the steep, nearly vertical walls that it is attached to, as they are said to make even experienced mountaineers want to back away from them. Monkeys! It's a Japanese macaque. The end-to-end journey on the Kurobe Gorge Railway covers just over 20 kilometres and takes just under 80 minutes, giving us an average speed of 15.5 kilometres per hour or about 9 miles per hour. Of course, this is not a journey you want to rush. The Kurobe River flows from the middle of the Northern Japanese Alps. It starts from a height of 3,000 metres and winds its way 86 kilometres to the sea. The river created the deep and spectacular V-shaped gorge that is known as the deepest in Japan. The canyon has formed over the past 2.5 million years. This dam is 77 metres high and was completed in 1985. It's one of 5 dams in Kurobe Gorge used to generate electricity. Very shortly after, we arrive in a train station. This is just a passing point. Passengers cannot get on or off here. More first-class carriages. While you'd stay a lot warmer and drier in them, they're not as good for photography, although I believe you can lower the windows. The rails on this narrow gauge line are just 76 centimetres apart. If you're travelling towards Keyakidaira, try and sit on the right hand side of the train for the best views. This large rock wall is about 200 metres high. Another power plant. As you can see, it's connected to the railway. There's no road access this far into the gorge. And that brings us to Nekomata Station. Passengers cannot normally alight or board here. As with some other stations, this one serves workers for a nearby power plant. However, a bridge further along the railway was damaged in the Noto Peninsula earthquake in January 2024. As a result, all trains are currently terminating here. However, when I made this journey in 2023, the full line was operational. At the time of editing, it's still unknown when the railway will fully reopen. Every train has a conductor. There's signage along the route highlighting key landmarks. I believe we're now crossing the bridge that was damaged by falling rocks in the January 2024 earthquake. It's always a good idea to bring wet weather clothing when travelling into this area. The weather can change very rapidly and can be quite cool. A few moments later we arrive at Kanetsuri Station. This is one of the more popular stations on the route. There's an open-air onsen fed by hot springs down a trail from this station. Here we perform an unusual manoeuvre. In order to accommodate the length of the train, the southbound platform which we're on runs into a dead end. So after allowing passengers to board and alight, we reverse. Before heading south again on the other track. There's meant to be a semi-permanent snowbank deposited during the winter on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite see it. There's an observation deck that should afford clearer views if you get off at Kanetsuri. There's no view in the tunnels, but at least it's dry. As we've switched to the opposite side of the gorge, the views in this final section of the railway are on the left-hand side. Another dam. We pass another train. Some maintenance workers. My fellow passengers have spotted deer. We're now approaching the end of the line. Technically, the line continues further south to Kurobe Dam, but that's limited to employees of the Kansai Electric Power Company. As you can see, the platform is quite long, double the length of the train. That's because there are separate boarding and alighting areas on the same platform, ensuring passengers getting off don't get mixed up with passengers waiting to board and allowing for quick turnovers. There's lots of tour groups on our train. The people holding signs on the platform are directing them to a meeting place. The locos run around the carriages. And then pull the train forward so it can be reversed into a siding to make space for another train to arrive. This is the boarding area. You'll notice it's single track.
So here we are in Keyakidaira. It was a really enjoyable journey, a bit cool, a bit wet, but spectacular in terms of the gorge, and there's some nice autumn leaves, lots of tunnels and variety. And once you're here at the end of the line, there's still plenty to see.
Most trains have 13 passenger cars. There are a number of walking tracks, outdoor springs, viewing platforms and restaurants at Keyakidaira. This bridge sits 34 metres above the Kurobe River. The average annual temperature in the canyon is 10.7 degrees Celsius. I was hoping to hike to a nearby gorge, but unfortunately the path was closed part of the way along. This is as far as I could go. Still, it's beautiful. The granite in the river dates from 800,000 years ago. If you head north, there's a number of hot springs you can visit. Back at the station. Here we can see the queue for the next service back to Unazuki. There are food and drink outlets in the station, and there are always gifts for sale. Known as omiyage, it's customary for Japanese people to buy gifts for family, friends and even work colleagues when travelling. And there is plenty of railway-themed omiyage. Your reservation is for a train at a specific time, but as the weather was bad, I decided to go to the ticket office to see if I could swap to an earlier train back. Success! I'm on board the 1310 service. We're about 600 metres above sea level here. Clouds enclose the mountain tops. As this service had a bit more space, I could move from one side of the train to the other. This had two benefits, getting the best views and avoiding the rain. So how much does a ticket on the Kurobe Gorge Railway cost? A return adult fare from Unazuki to the end of the line in Keyakidaira costs 3,960 yen. The supplement for an enclosed first class carriage is 600 yen. However, at the time of editing, you can only travel as far as Nekomata Station, costing 2,820 yen for a return fare. A better view of some of the hydroelectric infrastructure, the reason this railway exists. The Red Bridge provides a rail link. You can really feel the speed on these bends. After waiting for this train to pass, we get a clear signal. This bridge doesn't carry people, nor trains, it carries water. The aqueduct dates from 1927. So, Australia is not the only place with dangerous reptiles. I believe this is a warning for the mamushi, also known as a Japanese pit viper. 2,000 to 3,000 people a year are bitten by mamushi, typically requiring up to a week in hospital. What a view! And now we're almost back to the beginning. The bright red Shin Yamabiko bridge comes into view. The bridge and railway is an engineering marvel, set within an environmental marvel, Kurobe Gorge. What a great little railway this is, something out of the ordinary. I definitely recommend visiting if you're ever in the area, particularly in autumn. And just like that, we arrive at Unazuki Station. We catch glimpses of some of the freight wagons used to maintain the hydroelectric power stations. As with all Japanese railways, the operation is very efficient. As soon as we arrive, another train departs. Unazuki Station features a souvenir shop, of course. There's also tourist information here. And upstairs you'll find information on the railway's history, although it's mostly in Japanese. The weather hasn't gotten any better. You can have your photo taken with this heritage loco. There's also this miniature version. But I'm catching the Toyama Chihō Railway back to Shin Kurobe. From where you can change for a Shinkansen to whisk you to your destination. And speaking of the bullet train, in my next video we'll take Japan's most popular high-speed line, the Tokaido Shinkansen between Tokyo and Nagoya. Trains on this line depart every few minutes. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Hope to see you then!